Hello everyone, welcome back to the second session on biomolecules. Today we learn about the Hayward structure of glucose and fructose and also disaccharides and some of the polysaccharides. Just a little recap, that is, last class we had learnt about carbohydrates, classification of carbohydrates, what are monosaccharides, and we learnt about the elucidation of structure of glucose. Today we learn about the cyclic structure of glucose. See, as I had explained to you all, the open chain structure of glucose contains 6 carbon atoms. The first carbon atom is CHO group, that is aldehydic group. There are 5 OH groups which is present in the rest of the 5 carbon atoms. In the third carbon atom, the OH group is to the left, whereas second, fourth and fifth carbon atom OH is towards the right. Okay, this is the open chain structure. Now, as glucose contains aldehydic group, it will react with hydrogen cyanide and also it will react with hydroxylamine, which we have already learned. But even if there is an aldehydic group, some of the reactions are not answered by glucose. That is, it does not give Skiff's reagent test. It's a test which indicates there is a free aldehydic group. But glucose did not answer Skiff's reagent test. Also, it does not react with sodium bisulfite. Okay, it does not give an addition product here with sodium bisulfite. Also, if we take pentacetate of glucose, okay, pentacetate of glucose will not react with hydroxylamine. All these 3 reactions which glucose did not answer indicated that there is no free aldehydic group. That means aldehydic group is not free, so that it will show all of these reactions. Okay. Also, here glucose was found to exist in 2 crystalline forms, that was named as alpha form and beta form. Okay. In alpha form is obtained from crystallization of concentrated solution of glucose at 303 Kelvin, whereas beta form was obtained from crystallization of hot and saturated aqueous solution at 371 Kelvin. Also, if you see, alpha form has a melting point of 419 Kelvin, whereas for beta form it's a little higher, that is 423 Kelvin. So, these 2 forms also existed for glucose. Now, all of this indicated that there is a different form of glucose which might be a cyclic structure. Okay. One of the OH groups of the glucose reacted with the aldehydic group to form a 6-membered ring. Okay. That is, you can see here in the open chain structure, the 5th carbon atom OH group reacts with the first carbon atom, that is the aldehydic group, where the hydrogen from the OH group from the 5th carbon atom goes to the oxygen of the aldehydic group to form OH group. This gets converted into OH, and the first carbon atom and the 5th carbon atom is linked with an oxygen in between. You can see here in this OH group, carbon, oxygen has got converted to OH group. There is already an H group, and the first carbon atom is linked with the 5th carbon atom with oxygen in between. Okay. Now, if I write the OH group in the first carbon atom to the right side, okay, if I write it towards the right side, then we call it as alpha D plus glucose. Okay. And if the OH group in the first carbon atom is written to my left side, then we call it as beta D plus glucose. So, there are 2 forms, one is alpha glucose and one is beta glucose. They differ only in one carbon atom, only in the position in one carbon atom. That is, the two cyclic forms of glucose differ with the position of OH group in one carbon atom, that is C1 carbon atom, and that carbon atom is called as anomeric carbon atom. It's called as anomeric carbon. So this is called as anomeric carbon atom, and these two isomers of glucose are called as anomers. Okay. Now this cyclic form of glucose is also called as pyranose structure. That is, we can write it in a different form in which it is an analogy with pyran. Okay, pyran is an organic molecule which is 6-membered ring with 1 oxygen and 5 carbon atoms. This is pyran. Okay. Similar to this, I can write the cyclic structure of glucose, and that structure we call it as pyranose structure. How to write it? Just look very carefully. It's a 6-membered ring with an oxygen. Okay. So this is the oxygen. This is my first carbon atom. This is my second carbon atom. This will be the third one. This is the fourth and the fifth. Sixth will be outside the ring. So you can see, as I have named 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 will be outside the ring. How do we write it? Okay. So here the OH group, whatever is there in this structure, whatever groups are there on the right side, okay, I will be writing it like this. I'll put a line. The carbon atom has one OH group and one H group. OH is towards the right, so I will write it below, okay, and H I will write it above, okay. In the second carbon atom, what is there towards the right? OH, so that I will write below. In the third carbon atom, what is there in the right? It is H, so I will write it below. In the fourth carbon atom, what is there in the right? OH, which I will write below. And in the fifth carbon atom, you cannot tell right or left here. Okay, just remember it this way. The CH2OH group is bigger. It will not fit inside the ring. So you can write it outside. It is CH2OH. Okay. Now, whatever is there to the left, you are writing it above. For the first carbon atom, H is towards the left. I have written it above. Second carbon atom also it is H. Third carbon atom it is OH. And fourth carbon atom it is H. And here it is H. So this is the structure, okay. This structure, this cyclic structure is also called as Haworth structure of glucose, okay. This is alpha D plus glucopyranose, okay. Same way, I can write for beta also. I'll write the 6-membered ring structure. One is oxygen. This is my first carbon atom. Second, third, fourth, fifth. The first carbon atom, here I have to write all the other groups which is there attached. For first carbon atom, what is there towards the right? It is H. In second, it is OH. In the third, it is H. In the fourth, it is OH. And in the fifth, I told you all, CH2OH should be written outside. So the remaining positions, it's very easy to write. If here it is H, this will be OH. If this is OH, here it is H. If this is H, the other one will be OH. OH, this is H, and here also it is H. This is beta D plus glucopyranose. Okay. Now we'll see the Haworth structure of glucose, just what I had explained. So here it is alpha D plus glucopyranose and beta D plus glucopyranose. Now you might ask me, ma'am, every time we have to show the reaction with the fifth carbon atom and the first aldehyde group and then write the alpha form and beta form. Looking into it, should I write the Haworth structure? You can directly remember it like this, okay? And also I shall give you a small trick to remember it, okay? It's a 6-membered ring, okay? So I just draw like the benzene ring here with an oxygen in my right side, okay? In the topmost it will be oxygen, okay? So first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 carbon atoms, correct? Now how do I remember? Just remember the position of OH group. Here the position in the first carbon atom OH group is down, so I write it as D. In the second carbon atom also it's down, so I write it as D. But in the third carbon atom it is above, so I write it as U. And in the fourth carbon atom it's again down, okay? So you can remember it as the position of the OH groups in the cyclic structure is D, D, U, D, down, down, up, down. So down, down, up, down. And in the fifth carbon atom I told you CH2OH is always outside, other one is H obviously, which will be below, okay? So this is the same everywhere in alpha as well as in beta form, okay? This is for which form? This is for alpha form. If you know to write the alpha form, you can write the beta form, because in beta form only in the first carbon atom you have to reverse it. That is, here OH is down in alpha form, you see beta form, OH is above, okay? This is a small trick to remember to write alpha D plus glucopyranose, okay? How do you remember? You remember the positions of OH group from the first carbon atom to fourth carbon atom as D, D, U, D, down, down, up, down, okay? That is a small trick for you all to remember the glucose structure, okay? Next, it is fructose. Now, what is fructose? Fructose is a ketohexose. It is a sugar which is found in fruits, okay, honey, etc. Also, it's called as fruit sugar because it is mostly found in fruits, okay. Also, in structure of fructose, if you observe, there is 6 carbon atoms. There are 6 carbon atoms. The first carbon atom is CH2OH and the last carbon atom is CH2OH, okay. The second carbon atom is the functional group, that is ketonic group. That's why we call it as ketohexosis. 6 carbon atom and it contains ketone as functional group. That's the reason the name ketohexose, okay. And also the third carbon atom, fourth and the fifth is just like how it is in the glucose. The third carbon atom OH is to the left and fourth and fifth carbon atom OH is written to the right side, okay. This is the structure of fructose. Also, if you observe the name, it is written as D minus fructose. D because it is similar to D form of glyceraldehyde. These two carbon atoms are just like D-glyceraldehyde, okay. And minus, why have we written minus? Okay, that is because it is levorotatory. Levorotatory means it will turn the plane polarized light in anti-clockwise direction, okay. So here it belongs to D series and it is levorotatory. It is appropriately written as D minus fructose. It has ketonic functional group in C2 carbon atom, okay. So the molecular formula is the same as glucose, that is C6H12O6. That is about fructose. Now we will see about the cyclic structure of fructose. In cyclic structure of fructose, the OH group of the fifth carbon atom is reacting with the ketonic group, that is the second carbon atom, okay. So what happens here is the H will go to oxygen and the carbon will get attached to the fifth carbon atom with an oxygen in between. You can see the alpha form I have written, in which here second carbon atom is linked to the fifth carbon atom with oxygen. OH is returned to which side? Towards the right, and this CH2OH is returned to the left, then that form is called as alpha form. And if OH is returned to the left side, we call it, see here, it is returned to the left side, and CH2OH is returned to the right side, then we call it as beta form. Okay. Now the cyclic structures, how to write? It is similar to furan, organic compound furan. Okay. This is the organic compound furan, which is 5-membered ring, okay, with 1 oxygen and 4 carbon atoms. Similarly, you have 1 oxygen, 1, 2, 3, 4 carbon atoms of the ring. Okay. How do I write the cyclic structure? And fructose is called as furanose ring, okay, furanose structure. So here I will write it like this. Okay, this is the 5-membered ring, this oxygen which is here, this is my second carbon atom, third, fourth, fifth. 1 and 6 are outside the ring. Okay, so it is just like how we wrote for glucose. Whatever is there to the right, you have to write it below. OH, H, OH, and when it comes here, always CH2OH is written above and H is written below. Now, what is the other group? Here for second carbon atom, what is there to the left side? It is CH2OH, okay, and then the third carbon atom, it is OH, and here it is H. This is the alpha D minus fructofuranose structure. It is called as fructofuranose structure. Okay. Now, if you want to write the beta form, what you have to do? You have to just reverse in the first carbon atom or the first position in the furanose ring. Okay. So, we will write that also once again. Okay. Whatever is there towards the right, I will write it below. CH2OH, then I have H, then I have OH, and here CH2OH is always above and H below. Here if it's OH, this is H. If it's H, it is OH. CH2OH, then this is OH. Okay, this is the beta form. You can see only here you are going to give a change in alpha form and beta form. Now, how do I remember this cyclic form? I shall give you the trick. Okay, so we'll see the furanose structure. You can see here the first carbon atom CH2OH is above, OH is below. Then the second one you have OH above, third one you have OH below. So how do I remember the positions of OH? It is down, up, down, DUD for alpha form. Also remember, here you have 2 CH2OH groups in alpha form and both are above. The first carbon atom and the sixth carbon atom, both are above CH2OH. Okay. Remaining, if you just remember these two CH2OH which is above and about the OH positions, the remaining positions are H. Okay. So, this is how you can remember the alpha D minus fructofuranose. To write beta, you have to just change in the first position, you write OH above and CH2OH down, you will get the beta form. I hope you have understood how to write both the Haworth structure, that is for glucose as well as of the fructose. Because if you don't know to write the glucose structure and the fructose structure, then you will get stuck up with when we are learning disaccharides. Okay. So, please do practice this. It's very important to learn to write the Haworth structure of glucose as well as fructose. If you know the alpha form, just in the first position you have to reverse so that you will get the beta form. Okay. Now, next is about disaccharides. I already explained to you all what are disaccharides. If a carbohydrate on hydrolysis will give 2 monosaccharide units, then we call them as disaccharides. Okay. So, here The carbohydrate which on hydrolysis yields 2 monosaccharide units, we call them as disaccharide. You have to know what is glycosidic linkage. The linkage which is present between the 2 monosaccharide units, okay, through an oxygen, then we call it as glycosidic linkage. I'll explain this with the structure, okay. So the first one which we have is sucrose. Sucrose is a disaccharide, okay, and it is also called as invert sugar. Sucrose is also a non-reducing sugar. It is made up of one glucose unit and one fructose unit. That means if sucrose undergoes hydrolysis, it will give one alpha D plus glucose and one beta D minus fructose. Okay. Why is it called as non-reducing sugar? Because it does not reduce Tollens reagent and Fehling solution. Why exactly? I shall explain to you all in the structure. Okay. Sucrose is also called as invert sugar. Why exactly is it called as invert sugar? Now, if we pass plain polarized light through sucrose solution, it will turn the plain polarized light by an angle of 66.5 degree. That means it is dextrorotatory. It will turn the plain polarized light in the clockwise direction. Now, if sucrose undergoes hydrolysis, the solution after hydrolysis will become levorotatory. Why exactly it becomes levorotatory? That is because you see glucose is dextrorotatory. It turns the plain polarized light. See, if this is at 0 degree, it will turn the plain polarized light by 52.5 degree. Okay, that is plus. Whereas fructose, if this is my 0 degree, it will turn the plain polarized light in the anti-clockwise direction by 92.4 degree. You can see this is levorotatory, it has got a negative sign, and this is dextrorotatory, it has got a positive sign. So which is higher? Levorotation is higher or dextrorotation is higher? Obviously, magnitude of levorotation is higher, and hence the entire solution will become levorotatory. It will become levorotatory. So what happens if I take sucrose solution and pass plain polarized light? It will be dextrorotatory, but after hydrolysis, the solution, the resulting solution will be levorotatory. Hence, because of this inversion in sign, okay, we call it as invert sugar. Next, we will see about the structure of sucrose. We learn to write the structure of sucrose. It's a very important question for your exam. It can be asked for 2 marks. So, how do I exactly write the structure of sucrose? So, first I will write down the structure of glucose. Okay. How do you remember it? D, D, U, D. So, it is alpha form. So, I write it as D, D, U, D. And in the fifth carbon atom, it is CH2OH. Then I fill the other positions with H. So, I have got the alpha form of glucose. Now, I have to, just below that, I will write the beta form of fructose. Okay. So, fructose beta form, alpha form how it is DUD. Okay. But beta form I have to write it opposite. So, I am writing it above, then it is down and up, DUD. Then here it is CH2OH, and in the last one it is CH2OH. Remaining all positions are with H. Correct? Now, what happens? Alpha D plus glucose and beta D minus fructose will react at, this is the C1 carbon atom and this is C2 carbon atom of fructose. So, these two OH groups will react and there is removal of water, H2O will get removed. So, what will remain here? H2O, 2 hydrogen and 1. So, 1 oxygen will remain, which will be linked in between the first carbon atom of glucose and second carbon atom of fructose, and this linkage is called as glycosidic linkage. What is it called as? Glycosidic linkage. C1 carbon atom of the glucose is linked with C2 carbon atom of fructose with an oxygen in between, and such linkage is called as glycosidic linkage. Now, I told you all it is also called as non-reducing sugar. It's an example for non-reducing sugar. Why? That is because, see, in glucose, the functional group is the C1 carbon atom, that is CHO group. And in fructose, the functional group is the C2 carbon atom, which is the ketonic group. Now, those two carbon atoms, the C1 of the glucose and C2 of the fructose, are involved in glycosidic linkage. That means that the aldehydic group and the ketonic group are involved in linking, and it is not free, and thus it will not reduce Tollens reagent and Fellings solution. That's the reason it is an example for non-reducing sugar. They do not reduce Tollens reagent and Fellings solution. I hope you have understood how to write the structure of sucrose. Now, for your exam, you don't have to write and show the removal of water. You can directly write like this, but just to understand how, if you know only the structure of glucose and fructose, you can write the structure of sucrose. I had to explain it this way. Okay. Similarly, we have two more disaccharides to learn. The next one is maltose. Maltose is also called as malt sugar. Okay. Maltose is composed of only alpha D plus glucose units. It is linked from C1 of one glucose with C4 of another glucose unit. It is an example for reducing sugar. So, here you can see how to write it. Okay, I shall just again explain to you all so that it's easy for you all to write. So, I write two glucose units just one next to the other. Okay, I write it just one next to the other. How do I remember? Down, down, up, down. CH2OH, here it is above. The remaining positions are H. Okay. So, this is my one glucose. This is my second glucose which I am writing. Again, down, down, up, down, CH2OH. Remaining positions fill with H. Please don't forget to fill the remaining positions. That's a common mistake which we get in your exam papers. Okay. Now, when I have written one next to the other, see here, this is the first carbon atom, second, third, fourth. Correct? And this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, the C1 of one glucose is linked with C4 of another glucose unit. That is, there is removal of water, H2O from here, and oxygen which will remain. You have to show the linkage. So, this is how you are supposed to write for the exam, not like this. Please do not show the removal of water. Directly you have to write two forms. That is, you write two glucose units, OH and OH gets reacted, water is removed, rub it out and write an oxygen atom in between, that is showing the glycosidic linkage. So, this is the structure of what? Maltose. Okay. You have just two alpha D plus glucose to write next to one another. Okay. The next disaccharide is lactose. It is also called as milk sugar because it is found in milk. Also, it is composed of beta D galactose and beta D glucose. The linkage between C1 of galactose and C4 of glucose is present. It is also a reducing sugar. So how do we write the structure? We have to write first beta form of glucose and galactose. Now what is galactose? If you know the structure of beta glucose, you can also write the structure of beta galactose, but just by changing the position of OH and H in C4 carbon atom. Now I shall write the structure of galactose. Okay. See, in glucose, in alpha form, OH is down, but I am writing the beta form. So I have written OH above, then OH is below, third carbon atom OH is above. In the fourth carbon atom, it should be below, down, but it's galactose what I am writing, so I write it above. Okay, and this is exactly like glucose, it is CH2OH. So the remaining positions I put H. So this becomes galactose. So what we have done in alpha D plus glucose, first position if I reverse, I will get beta D plus glucose. And also in fourth position if I reverse, I will get galactose. So first and fourth position of alpha D plus glucose, if we reverse, I am going to get beta galactose. Okay. So this is beta galactose. Next I will also write the structure of beta glucose. So glucose, how do I write beta form? OH is above, then down, OH is above and OH is down. So remaining positions I put H and this will be CH2OH. Now the reaction is like this, you can see OH and OH, where what is removed? H2O is removed, and the link you have to write like this, it will go cross. Okay, you have to show such linkage. Okay, it is not just which looks like U, it is something which looks like N. You can remember the letter N with an oxygen in between, hydrogen and hydrogen there. Okay, so the linkage is between beta D galactose and beta D glucose. You have to write this structure. Please do not show the removal of water. Okay, that is about the structure of lactose. Next is polysaccharide. Okay, polysaccharide contains large number of monosaccharide units linked together by glycosidic linkage. You have three polysaccharides to learn, that is starch, glycogen and cellulose. Today we will learn the structure of starch. Okay, starch is the main storage unit of plant. Okay, it is there in cereals, pulses, it's there in tubers, etc. It's the main component also in our food what we take. The molecular formula of starch is C6H10O5N, where N is 30 to 300 monosaccharide units. It is a polymer of alpha glucose and it consists of two components, that is amylose and amylopectin. Okay, amylose component is water soluble. It is about 15 to 20% of starch and it is having an unbranched, long unbranched chain with 200 to 1000 units. Okay, and it has got C1 to C4 glycosidic linkage. About the linkage, I will explain with the structure. So what is amylose? It is soluble part of the starch. It constitutes about 15 to 20% of starch. It is long unbranched chain, there is no branching, with one type of glycosidic linkage, that is C1 to C4. Okay, whereas amylopectin is the insoluble part of the starch. It contributes about 80% of the starch. It is branched chain. Okay, and there are two types of linkage, that is one is C1 to C4 linkage, another one is C1 to C6 linkage when there is branching. So, about the linkage I shall explain here. You can see here amylose, I told you it is a single long unbranched chain. Okay, here you can see this is the first carbon atom of glucose, this is second, third, fourth, fifth. You have not shown the hydrogen part. Okay, it is only OH group which they have highlighted here, and this is again 1, 2, 3, 4. So glycosidic linkage, the oxygen is in between what? C1 and C4. So this goes on continuing. We have written n number of times. It is unbranched. It is amylose, and it constitutes about 15 to 20% of starch, and it is a soluble part of starch. Okay, amylopectin is the branched chain. It is insoluble part of starch or component of starch. It contributes about how much? 80 to 85% of starch. These are also made up of alpha D plus glucose, but two types of linkage. One is, see here, 1 to 4. Okay, 1 to 4 when it is going as a straight chain. Where there are branching, you can see, and this one I will show, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this is the sixth carbon atom, correct? This is the sixth carbon atom which is there. Okay, and here it is the first carbon which is there. So C1 to C6 carbon atom, there is linkage. So two types of glycosidic linkage is present in amylopectin. What is it? C1 to C4 linkage and C1 to C6 linkage wherever there is branching. Okay, that is about starch. So once again, it's made up of two components, amylose and amylopectin. Amylose is a soluble part of starch. Amylopectin is insoluble part. Amylose is contributes about 20% of starch, that is 15 to 20%. Amylopectin 80 to 85% of starch. There are two types of linkage in amylopectin, but in amylose there is only one type of glycosidic linkage. Okay, that is about the structure of starch. Next class we learn about cellulose, glycogen, importance of carbohydrates, amino acids and properties of amino acids. Okay, I hope you have understood today's class. Thank you very much. Stay focused, stay tuned.